So we're now getting near the end of the time together here on retreat. Who's had a great time so far? Yeah, me too. All right. So we've heard this weekend about how the authenticity, our authenticity is crucial in our relationship with God and with others, and how inviting God into our struggles can lead to growth and healing. When we're honest about our strengths and weaknesses, doubts and fears, successes and failures, we're most able to follow God's commandments and to grow spiritually and emotionally. Jesus offers us hope because he walked among the broken and the lost. He offered healing he offers us healing as he offered it to them. He invites us to trust in his mercy and love and to seek his ongoing help in our struggles. Being honest with ourselves and about ourselves helps us to know our strengths and weaknesses more deeply. When we're honest, we make better choices. We build healthier relationships, and we find a sense of purpose and direction rooted in God. We talked about the blessings and challenges in our relationships with family members and how we can grow in gratitude, responsibility, compassion, and forgiveness towards them. We talked about how family is a community of faith, hope, and of love. Though these relationships can bring both blessings and challenges, we learned how our faith helps to sort these out. Jesus came into this world to be part of a family. He showed us how to love and honor our family. Our families shape us in many ways, providing us with a sense of identity, belonging, and hopefully security. Learning how to appreciate and nurture our familiar relationships can build strong foundations for our lives and our future. We talked about the impact of our friendships on our spiritual journey. God's relation is relational, therefore, friendships are a tangible way to experience the love of God. Are you helping your friends on their spiritual journey? Jesus called his disciples friends, and he showed us how to love and serve others in friendship. Those we spend time with can most significantly impact our beliefs, our values, and our behaviors. So friendships can either help or hinder our spiritual journey. We also dealt with the importance of spending time with the real presence of the Eucharist. This is great Saint Pope John Paul II in adoration, which he did like almost every day. He spent an hour in adoration. We learned how God's love is unconditional, and spending dedicated time in his loving presence can deepen our relationship and transform us. The Eucharist is the source and summit of our faith, connecting us with God's grace and his love. Jesus instituted the Eucharist as a way for us to be in communion with him and with one another. By participating in the Eucharist, we're reminded of God's love for us and invited to respond with gratitude and obedience. Spending time in God's presence through the Eucharist, like we did in adoration yesterday, gives us a tangible experience of God's love to transform our lives. The Eucharist is the source of strength and hope, helping us find clarity, purpose, and direction. Think seriously about the fact that we got to spend time face to face with Jesus yesterday in adoration of him and all he has done for us. Now, we're going to talk about how you can take all of this and bring it back into the world we left on Friday. Yeah, he wants you. Because just knowing all this is not enough. We're not participating just in an academic exercise here. Instead, as Christians, we believe that taking all of this and making a positive impact on our friends, families, and communities, that's what we're called to do, to be Christ's hands and feet in the world. He didn't call on us just to know his work. He called on us to do his work. So what is this work? Well, let's start by considering the example of how Jesus lived. What do you read? What do we read he did it, that he spent his time doing on this planet when he entered into time and took on a human nature, when the Word became flesh, as it was described in John and we heard today, this weekend. Do we read of him spending a large amount of time on his carpentry skills so he could make like a killing as a carpenter, making the most awesome and expensive works of art in wood, as he surely could have as creator of the universe? Imagine what he could have created if that's what his goal was. No. Did he spend time arguing with authorities about the best system of government or the plight of what was happening to people living under Roman rule? No. What did he do? He taught us to live harmoniously the perfect love he wanted us to express to each other by himself expressing it to us. He cured the sick. He embraced the outcast. He helped the suffering. He gave hope to the hopeless. He brought life where there seemed there was none. He taught us how to love each other. He taught us how to pray to God. He taught us what was most important in life, to serve each other and to serve God. He wanted us to do, to act, to be examples of his love. There's no secret in what Christ wants of us. He left himself open to us, plain as day. He entered into a family to show us how to do family. He formed friendships to show us how to be friends. He served to show us how to serve. And he sacrificed to show us how much he loves us and calls us to sacrifice for him. What we're called to do is not always easy. The world calls you to what's easy. What Christ calls us to is heaven. This means work. We're called to do his work. But it's a work that will fill us with love and give our lives purpose. Our families aren't perfect, but we can work to serve our families in the best way we can, to foster the love that's due within our family, to volunteer to help before we're asked, to go above and beyond what is asked of us out of love, to simply reflect a little glimpse of the love Christ showed to us, by his actions in a family. So our friends aren't perfect, neither are we, but we can work to be great friends to others. Sometimes this means helping to steer your friends to good choices, even if they're inclined otherwise. Maybe it's being an example to your friends by living a Christ-dedicated life, by going to Mass, by praying, by being an obvious Christian. Maybe you're supposed to be the friend that leads someone who is wandering back onto the path that Christ wants for them. Maybe you think you may not think you can be, and maybe you can't be today, but you should want to be, and you can be, and he wants you to be, because he calls all of us to be. Finally, the world's not perfect, but we can help move it in a better direction by doing the very things Christ taught us. We, every one of us, can volunteer at a local food pantry, is an example, like a soup kitchen or a parish, to help people already organizing food distribution to our neighbors in need. Here's a picture of a quick search I did on food pantries in the Raleigh area. There's a lot more if you search near like Holly Springs or Cary or North Raleigh, areas around the center. This is just the center of Raleigh. And if you can go help at a food pantry. If you need transportation, figure it out. You can get transportation. You can get somebody to take you, one of your parents, a friend, somebody to drive you there. Because you want to. I'm not asking you to do something you don't want to do. I'm asking you to want to do it. What you're called to and now capable of doing to help your neighbors in need. This is what Christians do. We help those in need. Food pantries, just one example. You can help in so many other ways. You can volunteer to help organizations building homes for people who don't have homes. You can go with somebody to take communion to somebody who's sick and homebound, that may just need some companionship that you can offer. There's so many ways to do Christ's work. You may find it challenging to walk in his shoes. It's true. Schedules, conflicting demands, schoolwork, work, some of you have jobs, even laziness or just gaming or doing other stuff. All of these can be obstacles to doing what we all know what we should be doing. But through perseverance and faith, we can overcome these and emerge stronger, more compassionate disciples of Christ. As we conclude our retreat, remember the importance of service, reaching out to the marginalized and being present in our communities, our families, and our friend groups. Through these actions, we embody Christ and become light to others. As we return to our everyday lives, let's stop living our everyday lives. Let's start living examples of Christ to others, serving others joyfully. Let's be truly present to those around us. And let's share our faith in meaningful ways as he has called us to do. Let's go to small group.